Nigel Farage, the UKIP leader, talking about a possible referendum, the referendum on Europe. But let's just listen into what he's saying, responding to a question about talking to cabinet ministers.
It is pretty clear that David Cameron is not pursuing that policy, that everybody will be bound by collective responsibility, whether they're members of the cabinet, junior ministers, parliamentary private secretaries, or whatever they are. So already within the Conservative Party, you've narrowed down the potential number of rebels because very few people give up ministerial positions on a point of principle. Would I urge those that agree with our side of the argument to do so? Yes, of course I would. I'd be delighted to see it. But in an age when politics is a career for most people above everything else, I wait to be surprised. Okay? And I suspect that amongst the new intake of Conservative MPs, there'll be many looking at the plight of the Labour Party thinking, I'm on a pretty good number here. You know, I could be here for the next 3 or 4 general elections and, my salary is 66,000 a year, but if I become a minister, it's 115,000 pounds a year. Maybe best I toe the line just on this one particular account. So, look, I wait to be surprised. But I think if we were to put our faith in the Westminster Village to stand up and fight on a fundamental point of democratic principle on behalf of the people of this country, all I would say to that is don't hold your breath. And as far as the political question, what would happen if there was a narrow yes and Cameron was seen to have outspent the no side and we were seen to have been done down, your real question, would that mean a massive surge to UKIP? I don't know. But you know what? That's not what I care about. What I care about is winning this referendum and getting back our independence.
Sam Coates from The Times. Mr Farage, would you truly welcome the addition of Boris Johnson to playing a high-profile role in the No campaign, or does just a little bit of you worry that he's Eurosceptic light, or it would be all about his own ambitions, or it would just distract the No campaign and turn it into the Boris versus George show?
Look, I just don't know what Boris Johnson's going to do. As far as I know, Boris Johnson believes in amnesties for illegal immigrants, and as far as I know, when Boris was on a tour of India with Cameron 18 months ago, he said that EU membership was vital for global trade. If there is a Damascene conversion from Mr Johnson, will he steal lots of the limelight? Yes, but you know something? A lot of those in Westminster who see themselves or hope when the moment comes will be big voices in the No campaign are the kind of people whose public recognition is so pitifully low they wouldn't be an asset to the No campaign. And the one thing about Boris, if he has this Damascene conversion, is that, do you know what? The public know who he is. So I would say, come on, Boris, see the light, come on in, the water's lovely.
I think Boris Johnson wants this double referendum.
I know. He's got a lot to learn, of that there's no doubt. But,
Anybody who knows
mind you, he does want to be leader of the Tory party, so you never know, do you?
Well, anyone who knows the history of the Conservative Party know that when it comes to double referendums, it doesn't really go very well.
No.
Yes,
Joe Mays from Bloomberg. On the radio this morning, Nigel, you said the No campaign needs a leader who can debate best against David Cameron on TV, live, in front of the British public. After your successes against Nick Clegg, can you name someone who you think would be better than yourself in those debates?
Oh, I'm sure there's a very long list indeed. And look, you're all obsessing about who's going to lead the No campaign. Unless we get this thing kicked off in September, there won't be a No campaign, and we'll lose it by a huge margin. So, look, it will be up to whoever gets the designation for the No campaign to pick the person who'll do that debate against David Cameron. And you know what? It may even be somebody who's never been in politics before. It may be somebody, going back to the last question, who the British public actually know. Because I think politicians overestimate, their carry and their spread amongst the British population. They're not well known, they're not very well liked, so let's wait and see. And let's hope somebody emerges, from perhaps business or sport. Who's to say?
Yes, sir. John, if you can...
Thanks very much. Mr Farage, you've got the Welsh Assembly elections in May as well, and lots of speculation that this will be an election where you break through. Can you fight two campaigns at once? Also, what do you say to the arguments that it wouldn't be right to take Wales or Scotland if they vote yes out on the back of English votes?
Well, I think point number one, is UKIP capable of fighting a referendum and the Welsh Assembly?
Well, there we are. Nigel Farage
Yes.
answering reporters' questions about the referendum to come, talking initially about whether he has any chance of attracting Tory Eurosceptics, particularly in the cabinet, to get involved in the No campaign, giving his usual robust answers to those things.